it's crazy profitable to be buying and selling businesses. It is so worth your time, and it's the game that the private equity funds play, and it's why you hear such crazy numbers from Wall Street. There was a company that we're interested in buying. It's a very well-known company. It's been around for a long time, and it has a lot of customers that we would like to have that aren't aware of us yet. I heard that through an investment banker that I know that the owner was interested in selling, and the price was $25 million. So $25 million is cool, and it's worth $25 million, but I would like to not use $25 million to buy it. So then I go about thinking, how can I do this creatively? So I start with the 25 and then start asking around, have conversation with some people who know the owners, and find out that ownership is divided between 3 people. It's divided between the father who started it about 50 years or so ago, who is retired now, and he owns 75%, and his 2 daughters own 12.5% each. And he's the person who is interested in selling because he would like to have some cash. So that's cool. I talked to him and asked him what he's going to do with the money, because that's always the first question that you should ask when somebody's selling a business is, so what are you going to do when you get all this cash? And in his case, it was, I'm going to just throw it in the bank and it's my retirement. In addition to other things that I've got. So I said, okay, well that's cool. What if, number one, what would you take for your 75% interest? And he said, I'd really want to get at least $10 million for it. Well, if you do the math, 75% of a $25 million company for $10 million is a better deal than $25 million, right, for the whole thing. So it's like, okay, that's great. So now we've gone from 25 to 10. I don't care about the daughters. One of them works in the business and she's cool. The other one feels like she got, left out by the other daughter, and family drama, which is fine. So he's also getting to escape family drama, which is a gift to him. So started talking with him, and I said, okay, so what are you going to do with the money? He said, I'm going to put it in the bank. And I said, well, what are you going to get interest rate wise in the bank? And he's like, well, I'm going to get this much probably. It's not really great right now. And I said, okay, well, what if I could give you a little bit more than that? What if I could give you twice that? You're going to get a point or 2 in the bank. What if I could give you 5 or 6? And he said, that'd be kind of interesting. I said, okay, so then would you be willing to finance yourself a portion of the 10? Actually, I said, would you finance all the 10? And he said, well, I'd want to get at least 20% down. I said, awesome, great. Now I'm in a $25 million company for $2 million, right? So that's a pretty big leap from coming up with 25. I'm down to 2 now. So then I go to somebody else who is not competing with us, and I say, listen, I know where you can get a $25 million company for $2 million. I mean, you can get 37.5% of it. So I found a partner to put up the $2 million for half of the 75%, which was the down, and then sign on for half of the financed amount. So now we're into $25 million company for 0 down. We own 37.5% with a friendly partner, and we didn't pay anything to get it. You can do that up to $50–60 million, right? And then if it's an unsophisticated person that happens to be have built something from scratch, then you might be able to get up to 100-ish, but once you get past there, it's competing with investment bankers and they have cash, so it becomes less fun. I just want you to think about, set your sights when you're thinking about acquiring companies, set your sights higher than maybe you have them set now. And if you've never thought about buying a company, you gotta do it. There's no faster way I can think of to grow. So I just want to share with you that story. This is, to me, what's really interesting is the either found or buy and then grow and then exit loop is really, it's really telling why this is better than hanging on to your company. Because if you run 2 different scenarios and you say that over a 16-year period of time, you are able to grow the EBITDA, or basically the profit of your company, by 7% a year, or you're able to grow it by 7% a year, but every few years, in this case 4 times, so an average of every 4 years, you sell the business and invest that money in another business, because you're selling at a multiple of income, right? Because you're getting paid each of those 4 times, I'm assuming a 7x multiple here, you're getting 28 years more income over that 16-year period of time than if you just held on to the company. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 4 times you're selling for 7 years worth of income, and the other years you're holding and you're growing just like if you had held it. So the difference is about 276% more money in your pocket at the end of the day. And that assumes that you paid cash for the companies that you're buying, right? Because if you didn't pay cash, if you were to say only put, let's say that you put 60% down and financed 40%, then those numbers change pretty dramatically. And over that same period of time, you'd end up with a couple $100 million, right, on a company like that, buying and assuming that you can finance, because you can, right? And you might be able to finance with 20 or 30% down. Typically, we're able to go, again, up to about $100 million with 20% down. So thinking about that, it's crazy profitable to be buying and selling businesses. It is so worth your time, and it's the game that the private equity funds play, and it's why you hear such crazy numbers from Wall Street, because that they're getting decades of income over a very short period of time.
If you want a lot of additional really cool stuff, I've got a whole channel full of it, and you should subscribe so that you don't miss any of it, because I'm uploading videos all the time. There's a lot of things that are changing in this area, and you don't want to miss out. You don't want to do it wrong, and you don't want to make the mistakes I made. Subscribe so that you don't miss out, and then check out this next video.